Yo, we're doing a comments episode, bottom text. Oh yeah, and while I remember it, Virginity Clan has an archive of a good chunk of the deleted videos on BitChute. I'll leave a link to this in the description. Although since most of the vids are kinda, NSFV, you have to make a user and then you go into like up here, click, what the fuck is it, settings, interface, and then here you can see you can select this thingy. We want to see the whole fucking package. Save, and then you should be able to see all Virginity Clan's tomfuckery. Alright, now for comments episode, let's go. Why do you hate breast expansion and or inflation? I'm assuming that since you never talk about that subject of fetishes. I don't think I hate anything really. Hate is actually kind of a strong word. I feel like hate has kind of lost its meaning because we throw it around so much on the internet, but like, I think it really just comes down to the fact that I'm not into breast expansion and inflation. It's kind of the same reason I don't talk about vor much, so no big agenda to it. You should review a bad Yiv comic, like for example one of the comics made by Jason Effects or something similar. Bit of a passive aggressive stab at Jason Effects, but I think I get what you mean. I'm generally not much for really roasting anything in the furry community because all this shit is made by amateurs, right? And it's one thing to kind of talk shit about something that's made by like a big company, and another thing to talk shit about something that's made by like a small guy that's just trying their best, right? That said, I know how fucking hilarious it can be to just roast the shit out of something on YouTube, so I have thought about talking shit about a certain visual novel called Nekopara, which I think sucks, and it's very popular for a reason that I'm not entirely sure of, so that might be a thing at some point. What's your favorite variation of uvu/uvu? Probably the uvu with eyebrows, although it's kind of shit to type out, so you have to copy paste it. I also like the one that uses like tildes for eyes, like this thing. Come Lord Almighty, which one is better, slit, cloaca, or normal pussy? What's the difference between slit and normal pussy, actually? I'm pretty sure the E6 definition, which, that's like holy papizzle, right? That says they're the same, I think. Anyway, I'm definitely normal pussy, because cloaca is like a all-in-one asshole pussy and pussy. So imagine like you're fucking a pussy and then you like accidentally hit shit, right? It just seems like all the worst from anal in vaginal all-in-one. Kinda related. Which dick is best? Probably, I'm probably saying uncircumcised human dong. I don't know, I think this might actually be kind of a hot take, but I'm not really into all these really gimmicky cocks with barbs and fucking lights, and actually that's a lie. I like it when they have lights, that's cool as shit, but like knots and all this advanced shit, especially not when they're fire hydrant red. For some reason my mind just doesn't want to register these really advanced cocks as like actual cocks. Like I see them, I know they're supposed to resemble a dick, but when I look at them, my mind doesn't go like, wow, that feels like a dick. I just look at that and go like, wow, that's it might as well be a fucking kitchen utensil for all my brain feels. Horse dicks I actually like too. I like they have like they're really simplistic. They look good. I was expecting you to explain what I dislike about naked plush shoes pics. I personally like them, but for me it has more to do with implications than composition, which seems to be your main concern. A character wearing only shoes makes me assume they are naked outdoors, which isn't guides bare feet. As a fan of exhibitionism, makes their nakedness even more exciting to me. Even when they're standing in front of a simple background, the practical nature of the look still carries an almost subconscious suggestion of exhibitionism and vulnerability. I also like the intentionality of these pics. The thought that they must have taken off their shoes to remove the rest of the clothes before putting them back on. It gives me a feeling that the character knowingly crossed the point of no return. I don't know, for me, but I think the naked plush shoes thing has a very complimentary look for anyone engaging in extreme sexual acts, especially if they're wearing black mid-calf boots, which I think might just be an exhibitionism element enhancing scenarios I have than my fetish for mid-calf boots. I was actually trying to explain what I dislike about the naked plush plush shoes with the harmony discussion in the pic. Sometimes I feel like when you look at a picture, there's just a harmony. It's just really pleasant to look at. Everything just fits together so nicely. This picture here, for example, I think the colors are just super harmonic. It's so pleasant to look at. And when it comes to like the naked plush shoes combo, it feels the opposite of how the colors in this picture feels. It just feels like not satisfying. It kind of like bothers me a bit. I think I mentioned this in another video, but I also just straight up don't like shoes. I'm like a barefoot hippie. Probably also has something to do with it. I don't think it's just that. I do think this harmony point also has something, but you know, taste is a thing, so it makes perfect sense that someone would like this. Big Mommy Milkers GF or Tomboy GF? Definitely a Tomboy GF. I'm like, taste-wise, I lean a lot more towards like teens than I lean towards MILFs, right? Although I think it's a lot more tied to attitude than necessarily body, so you know, I definitely prefer someone who was 35 and was like teen in attitude than I'd prefer like a trad wife who was 16. Do I smell like cheese? Yes, you do. Boop. How's Denmark doing in terms of raccoons? Wasn't there too many or something? Not to my knowledge. I think me and Bins are pretty lonely up here. I think there's a good amount in Germany. I think they're starting to get real settled into Germany because there's so many raccoons who have escaped from fur farms and stuff. But I don't think there's a lot in Denmark. I think there's like barely any. Maybe a few, but you know, not a lot. Grimer and Megazone may be rare, but if you start a new file, there are specific progression points where you always have them available. Also, the Christmas upload lets you pick any of them and go straight past the puzzles. Out of curiosity, where would you put them? Also, Kekleon. If I gotta like just give an answer on the spot, I would probably put Kekleon in the Impressionist box around here-ish, very close to where I also placed Smeagol, this dude. I think they actually think pretty similarly. I think Kekleon can also be like just as, you know, wild, impressionistic, abstract as this Miracle, but I think he's just holding a bit back because he likes to play the sort of caretaker role when he's around Miracle. But when we look at like the shop, Kekleon in the shop, he's just like straight over here. Megazone, I think, yeah, Megazone is like a robot, so we're touching the lexical line out here. It would make sense to place them up here because, you know, robot, lots of data, but I don't feel we actually get a lot of like tangents, or there's any point where Megazone is just dealing with a lot of data at once. I haven't played a lot with Megazone, so it might also just be that, but someone up here would be more like think L from Death Note or something similar, than something like that, or Eulalilia, if you know who that is. But I feel like just based on gut feeling, I think I'm actually placing Megazone like down here. I don't feel like Megazone like ever goes out on tangents, or yeah, barely ever any tangents, very much like focused to the point, so we're going with somewhere here in the bookkeeper's box. And then the last one, Grimer. Again, mostly based on gut feeling, I think I'm placing Grimer definitely on like the linear bar. I feel like Grimer is, again, just based on gut feeling, the most linear character we have in Monster Mind. I feel like she's the most like simple, the most not complex character, and the most like the least likely to really get lost in thought, go out on tangents and stuff like that. And she definitely doesn't feel very lexical, so I don't think pure instinct. We're not that abstract, but maybe somewhere around like these four squares ish, like right around here. I think that's where I would place her. B stars if review. You are not the first to request this. I have heard the demand of the people, and I can tell you I already have a little bit of a script going on for a Beastars video. I think there's a good couple of people who will be very pleased to hear that. Bring back the Furry Show, my guy. I can't. YouTube took my channel down last time because they decided they weren't okay with it anymore. So for how sexuality is treated in the story thing, it might be more one-sided where you're from, or you're a bit out of touch. But this is a very realistic depiction of how people, especially young people, view sexuality. It's not so much virgin bad, slut bad, it's more of only I make the right choices and you're wrong for not being me. Self-centered and egoistical, not based in morality at all. Of course, not everyone is like this. Just those few high school bullies behave this way, and most of the other characters are realistic depictions of other viewpoints. I am definitely out of touch. I didn't actually go to a particularly normal high school. My entire grade was, I mean, they weren't all like me, but, you know, they were like on my level of, you know, outcast. And I live on the internet and don't really talk with any normies. So if I seem out of touch, I definitely am out of touch. This shit here makes actually a ton of sense to me, so thank you for pointing it out, fella. Do you have a favorite gun, real life or fiction? All my knowledge of guns come from video games, so I'm definitely not a gun nut, but Uzis, I think Uzis look pretty cool. Especially if, like, I don't know where I have this from, but, like, I have the idea of, like, an Uzi with, like, stickers on it. Imagine, like, an Uzi with vaporwave stickers. That would look cool as shit. Do you prefer anatomically correct genitalia or more human-like ones? Definitely, the humanoid ones. I think we went into this a little bit earlier. It's definitely not, like, doggo cocks or whatever is like an instant turn off. I have a few pigs in my favorites with doggo cocks and whatever, but you know, my personal preference is human or horse cocks. Have you ever tried VR? Do you think YIF has a future in VR? I mean, if technology can be used for porn, it will be used for porn. Isn't there already like some VR porn? There has to be. I remember back in 2016, one of my pals had, or somewhere around there, one of my pals got his hands on one of the first VR headsets, and he had it with him to like a party, and we was like, yo, dude, we gotta hook that shit up to porn. I need to see VR porn. So, you know, I definitely think it has a future in VR, but I don't think it's gonna replace just, you know, normal screen porn. Similarly to how, like, sex toys don't replace jacking off with your hand, because it's just, you know, jacking off with your hand is just easier. You don't have to clean, you don't have to lift your ass and go and find the toys, right? Similarly, I think this is definitely going to be interesting, but I don't think it's going to replace normal porn or normal YIF, if you will. How long is your hair? Since when do you have long hair? I haven't cut my hair since I was 13. Around there, I had like the Undertale haircut. Then for a really long time, I had like the Diva haircut, and now I'm starting to grow the bangs out. So like my bangs right now is like just like the blonde guy from Green with like all the back just being long, you know, regular long stuff. My plan right now is to grow the bangs really far out and then dread the whole thing. I've heard when you dread your hair, it's supposed to go like 2.5 times shorter or something like that. So I want to grow the bangs out like real long before I dread the whole thing. Would you choose to have combat glows if you could? Why would you not do that? That's cool as shit. Or perhaps a glow stick. Dick, yeah, again, like, why not? Purple glowing dick could be cool as fuck. Is a hot dog a sandwich, or is it its own thing? If you want your hot dog to be a sandwich, it can be a sandwich. Do you play any instruments or do anything other than porn and college? Getting drunk doesn't count. I play Overwatch, I watch YouTube, is pretty much it. I know a little bit of like image editing. I've made my own profile picture and, you know, stuff like that, but you know, nothing like pro level or anything like that. Archie the greater, dark mode or light mode. I generally love like cursed shit like pineapple on pizza and stuff like that, but light mode, I've always been into dark mode ever since playing Yoshi's Island when I was like fucking 3 or something. Yoshi's Island might have had the first dark mode in anything ever, so fun fact there. And ever since then I've been super fucking gay for dark modes. I really enjoyed it when everything and their fucking cat started having dark modes. So what tags do you wish had more content? I don't know if there's orientation plate. Yeah, easily orientation plate. Just barely fucking exist. I wish the pubes tag had more like actual pubes instead of like this. Same thing for armpit hair tags. Ambiguous herms isn't really a thing, so yeah, I wish that had more tags, but that tag doesn't exist, so Great Raccoon of 7 horny shits. What's the best color of a toolbox? The indigo. Archie, what are you planning on doing in the future? Reviewing porn on YouTube like I do right now. Well, doing it on full time, that would be pretty fucking sweet. Thoughts on male nipples? Why not? Raccoon, my boy, what is your name and why are you smashed to hell? My name is AnArchie and I'm smashed to hell because that's the way I think best is. In my opinion, clothes makes it better. The clothing creates some sense of mystery. You know the thing about books being superior to movies, because you can imagine a character in a book the best way you want. And in the movie, the character looks nothing like you imagined. I like to compare that with clothed nude stuff. The anticipation of looking at a character's private parts being covered up makes it sexier. Kinda like itching in a way. I don't know if I'm right or not objectively. You absolutely can and should voice your disagreement and provide counter arguments. I'm not really a fan of applying objective standards to art. There's definitely some people that would like to do that, but I don't really like that idea. When I do these analysis videos, I'm really just explaining like my experience with art and my thoughts about art. And you know, it's really just about what did I feel when I looked at this piece. The closest thing to like an objective measure is that I sometimes call art competent. It means that I think that the artist knows what they're doing and they've really considered what they're doing when they did this piece of art. But more than anything, it really just means that I feel the artist has put thought into this. Because I have seen other people make the argument that a piece of art is made incompetently, that the art didn't think their decisions fully through. And then I look at it and I go like, this was actually really smart. I think this is made with competence. I think they've actually made a good choice here that they've thought through, and vice versa. I think the thing you can really take away from these videos is just hear my point of view with all this art stuff, and then reflect on it, going like, do I agree with all this stuff? Do I disagree? And then through that, better figure out your own opinions about art. I guess it would be easier to just find some objective standard, because when you have that objective standard, you can really stop thinking and just like start to enforce some kind of law, but I think that would take a lot of the fun out of it. For me, at least. Competent isn't doing the writing in the game justice. It's much better than other furry games. When I'm saying competent, like I have a lot of ideas in my head and I can't always find the perfect, unmistakable way to put those thoughts out into words. It would be easy if I could just plug a thing into my head and just stream my raw ideas into the internet, but that's how it works. When I say something feels competent, I mean it feels like everything you do has been considered. Sort of like in the last video where I did a Beastars analysis in the Funky Bun video, I sort of broke down how like everything, there was like intent behind every scene. Every scene did something, and it felt like the people that made Beastars really understood what they were doing with every bit of every bit of the story. That's what I mean when I say competent, that there's intent behind every action, and it's not meant as like a rating system to say it's only competent, it's not good or it's not great. It's really more, I hope this makes sense. I'm not sure why VC suggests the animal who interrupts Red on his way back from the forest should be who's gotten most friendly with so far. I say that because which animal would be at the forest and when has nothing to do with who you've gotten to know best. That suggestion just doesn't make sense to me. It wasn't like something about the story or whatever. It was really more tied to the point that I think the game could use a bit more personalization. Like, the game could respond a bit more to what the player does. And this was really just an easy suggestion to how the game could respond more to the player's action. Alright, that was the thingy. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Eat your vegetables.